Okay. Oh man, it's been a minute. We are back. It's been a week since the last time I played. I meant to play sooner, but my circumstances did not allow me. That's okay. So, I've been playing with the audio setup for this recording, and this time I tested it. Dear God, the ramifications of not testing have been made very clear to me. So, this is a little better. I've actually changed it even further for this recording because I felt like the game audio was a little too loud. So now it should be the higher volume parts of the game audio recording should be reduced a little bit more, and it should be a little more balanced so you can hear me a little better. My microphone recording is a little iffy. I don't like where it's at, but I think I can't do much better with just the quality of my microphone. So hardware limitations there, so I'm playing around that. Let me not ramble about that. We're back, and of course I've looked at previous footage. I've been doing detective work there to spare myself having to do it here. And oh boy, have we got some stuff to do. So I think most of our revelations are going to come from soldiers of the sea and unholy captives, but there's some things we can glean from the Doom, and a couple things we can glean from the Calling as well. So where do we want to start? We can almost certainly identify the Carpenter and Carpenter's mate, and I've done it wrong. I got Winston wildly wrong. I have his name down somewhere. It is not on the right guy, though. This is where I want. Actually, maybe it's not, but oh well. I think this is Winston. I think we have him down as Marcus Gibbs right now. Wrong. Very wrong. He's not the Carpenter's mate. He is the Carpenter himself, I think. And oh, that's okay. So if we're correct, then this is all done. So he went out with a bang. Good on you. So it's as the beasts are coming down. He's one of the earlier deaths in Soldiers of the Sea. He gets spiked here. It's very important. Listen to what he says here. It's this guy right here. I think this is Marcus Gibbs.
What's going on?
Stay back! It's already done with the neck.
Hey! Come on, boss! No, get there! Hey! Cat!
So first of all, this dude is a cocky bastard. He sees this thing and he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm a hot-blooded American. Let's get some." And then he dies. But so if you listen to what he says, "Come on, boss." Now, at first, I thought he was talking to this guy over here with the authoritative hat. But if he's the Carpenter's mate, and this is Winston, the Carpenter, then he's talking to him. And it makes more sense, actually, that he says, in response to, "Come on, boss, no, get down." That's the first thing he says in response to that. I think this is Marcus Gibbs. We were right. There we go. So who have we got? Winston. We've got Marcus. And who else? That's O'Hagan! We got O'Hagan right. Okay. Oh, really? I thought I got O'Hagan wrong. Interesting. I thought we had a couple things maybe wrong in the calling. But it does help. It definitely helps. Here's something we gotta change. It's a very minor thing, but I think that they don't count as enemies. I think they count as beasts. If this was correct, we would have gotten him typeset a long time ago, and I think that was just a slight error that prevented that. So I think that's now correct. No, this guy. Okay, here's something very interesting. I am almost certain that this man's a steward, because another revelation I had off camera is that all of the stewards seem to have the same outfit. This is who we thought was Winston before, by the way. I believe he's actually an Indian guy, not American, as it turns out. And actually, if we just look at the sketch of Justice, you can see, I believe, that all of these people back here, including him, who hasn't been confirmed to actually be Duncan McKay like we thought, I believe all of these men back here are the stewards of the officers. And I believe they all have the same uniform as this guy, where they have this kind of black, long-sleeved coat that they're wearing with, I don't know what you would call that, like coattails? Oh no, sorry, the ship steward and the captain steward are different people. Ah, okay, I know exactly who the captain steward is, but we'll get to him. Alright, because, yeah, there was an accent at, I think it was the end of Unholy Captives. This is the steward here, by the way. A steward. I don't know which steward. And let's try and get a better idea of who shot him. I'll skip this. I don't know why we're listening. Oh, actually, maybe he's not a steward? Doesn't look like he's wearing those, like, coattails, does he? Although he's standing there with the other... No, I reckon he is. But whose steward is he? And we believe this man is John Davies, but that's another thing. Do we have another John on this list? Because there was a man... Oh, there we go! John Naples from Wales. Interesting. We have 2 Johns. Okay, that makes things a little clearer. Because it was unfortunate that at the end of Unholy Captives, Mr. Evans, the surgeon, he spoke to a man named John, but it sounded like he was talking to someone much closer on hand than this guy who was there, but he was up the stairs holding other people back from, like, a crime scene. Oh, sorry, can we get a better angle from here? Oh, so close. Oh, is it the bald guy? It is. Okay, it's him. So he is the guy who accidentally shot this steward. And also, this guy? Let's see something. That doesn't seem right, does it? So, I thought that maybe the guy we were calling Duncan McKay was Martin's third mate. But I remember his accent pretty clearly. And he sounded very Scottish. Like, incredibly Scottish. And that confuses me because Martin's steward is apparently English. I'm not sure. Now, the man who just shot the steward we were investigating there, he disappeared in the Doom. I actually suspect him of being the bosun's mate, the Frenchman. The Squid, I believe he's nicknamed on the ship. If you listen to this dialogue, that's a Frenchman. So, the guy barking orders is absolutely the bosun's mate. He is somewhere in this scene. And you'd best believe that the bald guy is one of those people. And it's, of course, we're too far to see, so annoyingly we have to kind of narrow it down over here. But we can see that Lars and Brennan are there. This guy is who we think it is. Who else have we got? We've got this guy. I don't remember. He's an enigma to me, man. I don't know how much we know about him. We've heard him talk. He sounds nothing like that. Who else is down there? I don't think he's a Russian, by the way. We'll get back to him. We've heard him talk. He doesn't sound anything like that. You know what? Let's do it. Let's label him as the bosun's mate. Charles Minor from France. And, luckily, we were explicitly told during the bosun's death that he was torn apart by a terrible beast. Not by an unknown attack. Done. I'm calling him Charles, the bosun's mate. The Squid will refer to him as that seems to be his name around the ship. Let's go to Unholy Captives now. That's going to be down in the cargo hold. That's going to be the one leg in the corner. I think we can get the Swedish guy done. The Captain Stewart, I believe. Okay, well, I was hoping you would hear his accent, but the music was insanely loud over the voices. I'm I'm pretty sure that's Swedish. I was thinking to myself, this has to be either Swedish or Polish, right? I don't know. I think I said like maybe it's Russian, maybe it's Persian. No, it's completely wrong. Um, yeah. So this guy is definitely the Swedish guy. It also makes sense. He says you've been my steward for 20 years, and he's like one of the older looking guys on the ship. So this is Philip Dahl. Here's another question. What happened to this man? He got locked in the lazarette, and then I don't think we ever saw him again? I'm not sure what's going on there. Now, this guy, he has a 1 deduction rating, the guy who actually died. I think that we were maybe overthinking this, and that he was in fact the other John Naples. Now, was he torn apart by a terrible beast? Ah, maybe he wasn't. Maybe he wasn't random cutlass on the ground. But here's a question. Why is his leg so far from his body? Did they lock that fish in the lazarette as well? I don't think so. I feel like this guy would die if they put him in the same room as the thing that, you know, went up and fish slapped the cook to death in one fell swoop. This guy definitely did something, right? It seems strange, but maybe I'll change it to killed by sword by... where did he go? There we go. Philip Dahl. Oh my god, that was actually right. Okay. What the hell did he do with his leg? Okay, we got that corrected. And... that is the bosun's mate! Okay. Huge progress. Wow, we are zooming. It's only been, what, 15 minutes since I started playing? We've gotten 6 fates correct? It's pretty great. This guy, have we actually gotten him typeset yet? I think we have his full fate labeled. Oh, that's what we've done wrong. Is we've, said that the helmsman killed him, when in fact, we still don't know who that is. Jesus. Why'd the man take his leg off? What the hell is wrong with him? It also makes me think, Swedish guy has to be dead in the lazarette. Right? Like, he has to have been killed by the unholy captains themselves. We know for a fact that this is wrong, because he was definitely crushed by a loose cannon. He explicitly said, "Sir, loose cannon," and then got crushed. But he's not Duncan. But he is incredibly Scottish. Do we have any unidentified Scottish people left? We have the topman, Timothy Butemint, already labeled. We know exactly who he is. And then there's Duncan Mackay the Purser from Scotland. I'm a little confused. My only other guess is that because of his proximity to Martin, both in the sketch and early on in the Doom when they're walking side by side and talking, that he's the third mate. But he doesn't sound incredibly English to me. Then again, I guess your origin can be a little more complicated than that. I guess you can be, like, born in born in England to Scottish parents or something like that, right? So, I guess we'll change it to Roderick Anderson. But then that begs the question, who the hell is Duncan Mackay? Where is he in this story? Ah, okay. So, we think his name is Thomas, because we think that these are the 3 midshipmen here, right? They had a very tight-knit group, and that makes sense because midshipmen are from a privileged background, usually. They're usually young men who are not, like, experienced sailors. And all 3 of these boys seem pretty naive, especially Charlie, who, you know, vomited at the sight of a cow being butchered. So, and we have these 2 already identified as midshipmen. Pretty sure this is our 3rd midshipman, Thomas. I think that also we can identify his attacker. Sorry, I've completely lost where we are. We need to go to escape, don't we? I think we can identify his attacker as John Davies, the fourth mate. Don't know if that's right. We've only gotten 2 filled out so far. When you completely fill out 3 sets of fates, then if you don't immediately get rewarded, you know that something's wrong. You know that at least one of them has been incorrectly filled out. And even more than that, you can actually immediately determine for each consecutive thing that you fill out and you don't get rewarded with 3 correct fates, how many of those are wrong. And obviously, if you fill out 3 more and you still haven't been rewarded, then all of them are wrong. Now, I haven't been keeping track of that, and I didn't go back and count in the recordings which ones I got wrong, because that feels a little cheesy, that feels a little meta, and I want to do detective work rather than, just logical reasoning based on some random book telling me whether I'm right or wrong. Sorry, what are we even doing here? I actually kind of want to look at these faces here. Because remember that this is Christian Wolf's body. What the hell happened to the other guy who was right behind him? I kept on saying that he was getting blasted overboard, and I had some faint memory of seeing a dude in the tentacle's grasp outside of the ship, but, I can't seem to find him anywhere. Look at the state of this guy. The cannonball killed him. I hate to say it, but he's just dead if he didn't get pulled out of the way by the tentacle first. This is our Indian guy, who I think lit the fuse, and if we can get his name, then we can get the killer of these two. Of course, accidental. I wouldn't exactly call him a killer by any stretch, but... Oh! We actually know that John Naples is the man who shot him. Let's fill that in. It seemed like he was the first one to make contact with his shot. Of course, there were 4 people shooting at him. That's inconvenient, but oh well. And then we have some disappearances I saw in the recording, and we're going to go back and look for sure, but these 2 actually get pulled under by the sirens, I believe. You can see their arms partially submerged or them getting pulled back. Actually, are both of these guys Russian? I think they're both Russians. So that clears things up. And you'll remember there are 3 Russians. I thought all 3 of the ones playing at that table in the one scene in, I think it's Bitter Cold, I thought all 3 of them were Russian. No, one of them isn't, and I'll show that in Escape, actually. I don't know who the ship steward is stewarding for. Maybe he's just the general grunt. Maybe any officer can be like, hey, my steward's already doing something. You do this thing. I don't know. We think this is the helmsman, and by the way, I think he was torn apart. Because we see him get lifted up. I think the only reason we don't have a body for him is because he was probably literally ripped off of the ship. So let's put torn apart by a beast. And I called him the helmsman because he's on the helm half the time. He's either injured or standing at the helm. This is not Leonid Volkov. I can tell you that much for certain. Pretty sure that's who he was shot by, though. These 2. My thought was, if Henry Evans is in Morocco, if he's in Africa, maybe they are too. Let's fill that in. We're pretty sure they're alive. I don't know how we would ever confirm that, right? We also think this guy's alive. He was also on the boat. Don't know who he is, though. Alive in Africa. Let's label that. If all of them... if Henry's alive in Africa, maybe the rest of them are alive somewhere. I just say Africa because that's where he is. It's literally all I have to go on. And then the end. We have all this stuff on. Let's go to the escape. How about that? Pretty sure that's John talking. Your mate's gone, the squid was torn apart. Pretty sure that's John talking. This is the 4th mate, but he's not. He doesn't have like the coattails that the other ones do, does he? 4th mate steward, I meant. So listen very closely to this. It is not the same 2 that we're talking. It's not these 2 that are talking about the mutiny, where he's listening here. They're just kind of sitting here. I think they're in on the mutiny, if you can call it that. But I think that it's actually William and the topman at the very end who are talking about it here on the main deck just above them. The captain is actually technically farther away, so if they're talking quietly, maybe he doesn't hear them, but he's like here, right? And he's leaning over the rail with his head on his hand, and he's looking all depressed and stuff, probably because his love just died. And so I think that it's maybe more easily heard from here. And if you listen to the accent, it's a Russian guy and a Scottish guy who sounds remarkably like William. That is if I've got the right body.
You know, Captain cannot be trusted.
You have a plan?
Yes. Take ship and sail east. Trade wretched fish and shells for gold. Hey, who's that?
Mutiny! Mutiny!
British bastard.
No!
Yeah, so this is where things go wrong, right? It seems like our Russian topman is trying to convince people that the captain is untrustworthy. He definitely doesn't seem like he's in a great state of mind. I wouldn't say that he's untrustworthy, though. He seems like he did what he had to do to get the Kraken to go away, and he also was very willing to sacrifice the rest of his crew's only lifeline to get passengers who were unaffiliated off the boat into safety, right? So, it seems like, to me, that maybe our Russian topman approached John and this guy privately and was like, hey, we should get the hell out of here. We should take over the ship. And they were like, okay, but you got to get everybody else on board too. And he's talking to William about it, right? And as they're talking, Thomas, our midshipman, who, you know, all the midshipmen seem pretty loyal to the officers, and they seem, you know, pretty held to authority. He goes, mutiny, 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 not really realizing that most of the crew is on board at this point. Brennan probably is too, because Brennan and our Russian topman seem pretty close. Okay? So, but then, John happens to be a little more cutthroat than this guy. He's not willing to shed blood over it, and so when he stabs Thomas in the back, and Thomas is not a bad guy by any stretch, this dude's like, hell no, and like basically this is just a fit of rage. This is a passionate fight here. This is not like a planned thing. And he shoots John in the fucking face, which is maybe worse than stabbing the guy in the back. And obviously these guys don't want a whole lot of, maybe Brennan does, but William doesn't seem to want any of this either. He wants to get the hell out of here. He wants to take control and just get everybody to safety at this point. So all that being said, I'm obviously, you know, jumping around a lot in the logic, but I think this is our Russian topman, Leonid Volkov. Nothing happened. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, dude. Sorry, whoa, there's that many people in this scene? Really? Or weren't they, like, below deck or something? Holy hell. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Have the people in cots been highlighted this whole time? And yeah, I think that actually it's showing everybody in these cots. Oh, isn't that why we thought he was, why we thought he was Winston in the first place? Because that's Winston's cot, number 10. I think that might be the case, I'm not sure. Actually, hold on. If Alexander Booth is in his cot, and we think this guy is an English seaman, didn't we narrow it down to 2? Alexander Booth and George Shirley? Put that down. Why not? Ah, damn. Hold on. Maybe all 3 of those guys are Russian. Maybe. Maybe I'm wrong here. Because that guy, the topman, is somewhere in this scene, but not in his hammock. With the addition of 59, which is George Shirley, which is not you now. Okay. My bad. I'll take you off the list. You're back to unknown. Mobby. So George Shirley's there. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. If one of the Peters brothers is here, the other one's already dead. Yes. Okay. Let's find their bunks, okay? Let's do that. So 60 and 48 are our magic numbers. I hope something horrible doesn't happen if we take too long. Like, I hope the storm doesn't kick in and we get attacked by the Kraken. That would be actually the worst. I would probably have a heart attack on the spot. I don't like the ocean. I don't like the things that live in the ocean, especially those of an eldritch nature. I'll pass. Using the same logic. 48. But was 60 around here, or had they taken that hammock down, I wonder? Or I wonder if the X actually does mean that it's a hammock of a dead crew member? 56 and 57 are still hung up. The others are missing. It makes me think that they do take hammocks down. They're not being used by a dead crew member. Who is 57? Alexander Booth. Interesting. And 56 is Brennan. He's right here, right? He was chilling. 41. Who's 41? Lee. One of the Chinese top men. Oh. Hang on. By now, aren't the rest of the Chinese guys dead? I don't actually know. But considering this is where all their hammocks were previously, and now there's like one left, yeah, I'm starting to think maybe that's the case. Okay. I think that's good enough for me. I think we're calling him Nathan now. Where is he? I think this is Nathan Peters. Right? Also, would it be fell overboard? Or would it be eaten? I'm not sure. And then this is the other Peters brother. Samuel Peters. That one, as long as we've gotten the names the right way around, should actually be correct. Any identifying features on or around them that can tell me more about who they are? Their shoes. Hang on. Oh my god, are you serious? Is that actually going to be it? Look at this.